Good morning, students. Welcome to your English literature class. So, today we are going to start a new chapter which is there in your book, a new story we are going to read, and that is already given in your book, chapter 5. That is The Secret Pleasures of Reginald. Okay, so Secret Pleasures of Reginald. So, it's a short story, not too long, but I'm just going to discuss the explanation what the story is all about. So, please listen carefully. Okay, so before we go into the story, we should have an introduction about the writer. So, the writer is Sir P.G. Wodehouse. Okay, his full name was Clem Grelin Woodhouse. He was a very well known comic writer and a lyricist also of England. And he was very much well known for the creator of characters like Jeeves and Smith. So his character called Jeeves was called the gentleman's gentleman. Okay, so like this he had attained quite fame and appreciation, and he was a very good writer of comic novelists, and his novels especially was concerned with projecting the upper class English society, which formed the background of most of his novels and short stories and plays. Okay, he also wrote many musical comedies, some lyrics for musical comedies and film scripts. And he began his career by working in a bank, and then he turned to full time writing. Okay, so he was once captured by the Germans in 1940, and when the Second World War was going on, and he made radio broadcasts to US from Berlin, wherein he humorously described his experiences as a prisoner. So humor was in his blood, and he was very well known for his humorous and comic writings. Okay, so here we have, although the story is not so much comical, but here we find a touch of humor in his story, in this story. Okay, so this story has been extracted. The story has been taken from his collection, which is called A Wodehouse Miscellany. It's a novel. Okay, miscellaneous stories are projected over there, and it is being taken from there. Okay, so this is just a portion which has been given in your lesson. So here we will start. So here we are talking about this character called Reginald, who is also called Reggie by nickname, and his secret pleasures. So here we will be concerned with something which is called illusion. Although as it is, see, the introduction of the story is given that we have our brain which helps us to think and which helps us to see and feel, and the brain only controls how we see and feel. So at the same time the brain also helps us to feel the same thing and see the same thing in different way, which is called illusion. Okay, so here we have a story where Reginald, or the Reggie, or the main character of the story, is actually present in one place, and he has illusions of some other place. He is thinking of some other place. He is thinking of spending a weekend at a resort whose owner he dislikes a lot. Okay, so this is what the story is all about. So let us just begin the story. I found Reggie. So here I is the narrator. I found Reggie in the club one Saturday afternoon. He was reclining in a long chair, motionless, his eyes fixed glassily on the ceiling. He frowned a little when I spoke. So the position of the a person whom he is talking about, or Reggie, shows that he was quite absorbed in thinking something, and the narrator, the entrance and the of the narrator actually disturbed his flow of thought. So he frowned a little when the narrator spoke. You don't seem to be doing anything, I said. It's not what I am doing, it's what I am not doing that matters. So here we have quite a uh, disturbing answer over here, which is not properly meant by one who is reading the story. So it is quite a kind of epigram, a very clever answer with the usage of few words. So he's telling that it's not what I'm doing, but it is not what I'm not doing that actually matters. So here he's trying to focus more on what he is not doing. Okay, so he is not present. The moment we go further into the story, we will find that he is not present in a place when he's speaking, but he's thinking of that place, and he is thinking all sorts of weird things and all sorts of very provocative and experiences. He's thinking about that, although he's not present over there. So it is not about his thinking which is mattering, but he's thinking of some place else where he's not present. That is what is more important to him. So this answer sounded like an epigram. Now, what is an epigram? All of you see by the side of your book only there is a written a short poem or phrase that expresses an idea in a clever way. So this answer is quite a clever answer according to the narrator. But epigrams are so little associated with Reggie that I ventured to ask what he meant. So although it seemed to the narrator that he had answered in the form of an epigram, but it was he was not Reggie was not a quite a clever character to have answered in epigram. So that is why he wanted to know what he actually meant. He sighed. Ah, well, he said, I suppose the sooner I tell you, the sooner you'll go. Do you know Bodfish? So he is of the opinion that unless and until he will tell the narrator, he will not leave him, and he will not leave him to have his own flow of thought. So it's better to say him what he was actually thinking. So he asked him, do you know Bodfish? So I shuddered. Wilkinson Bodfish. Yeah, I do. Have you ever spent a weekend in Bodfish's place in the country? So probably that's quite a beautiful place because people spend the weekend. So that's why he asked. I shuddered again. I have. Well, I'm not spending the weekend at Bodfish's place in the country. I see you are not, but you don't understand. I do not mean that I am simply absent from Bodfish's place in the country. I mean that I'm deliberately not spending the weekend there. When you interrupted me just now, I was not strolling down to Bodfish's garage listening to his prattle about his new car. So you see his flow of thought. So just because he was thinking something else, all of a sudden, the mention of Bodfish came into his mind, and he wanted to have the narrator think that he was actually thinking of having spent a weekend in that place, although he disliked the person and talking to the person. So it's quite a confusing thing which he was thinking about. Okay, so this is what creates the humor of the story. Like, he is not present in that place, he is thinking about some place of having a good weekend, of spending a good weekend of a person whom he doesn't like personally, but still he's thinking about that person. Okay, so I glanced around uneasily. Reggie, old man, you are not this hot weather. So he is trying to figure out this fact that probably he has gone mad, and that probably the weather might be affecting his thoughts. But I'm perfectly well, he assures. Reggie assures that I'm perfectly well and in possession of all my faculties. So he says that I'm perfectly well and I know what I'm thinking about. I have full control of my capacities and talents. Now tell me, can you imagine anything more awful than to spend a weekend with Bodfish? So at one point of time, he's thinking about spending, he is wasting his time, or rather he's spending his time thinking about a place, or of spending a weekend at Bodfish's place, of this person's place. But on the other hand, he is asking the narrator, can you imagine more of anything more awful? So if you don't like something, why would you think about it? Herein lies the humor of the story. He doesn't like that person, but still he's thinking about spending a place at here at his residence, or at his place, thinking spending some time at his place, and he is totally captivated in the thoughts of how he would spend the time at his place. Okay, on the spur of the moment, I could not. So I could not think that whether really the narrator could find anything more awful than spending some time at Bodfish. Can you imagine anything more delightful than not spending a weekend with Bodfish? Well, that's what I'm doing now. So he's telling that I cannot think of anything more awful than spending a weekend at Bodfish. But again, at the same time, he's asking, so if you are not thinking about that, can you find it? Can you think of anything which is more delightful than spending some time at Bodfish? So he is quite at all. He is quite illusioned by his own thoughts only. So soon when you have gone, if you have any other engagements, please don't let me keep you. I shall not go into the house and not listen to Mrs. Bodfish on the subject of young Willie Bodfish's premature intemperance. So what he didn't want to do, still he wanted to mention it in his thinking. Still he wanted to think about those things and spend his night time. So here is what the title of the story goes, that he gets the secret pleasures of thinking something which he does not want in practicality. So although in practical life he don't want to do such things, but just because he was sitting idle, he felt pleasures in thinking of something which he didn't want to do in his practical life. Okay, so here I'll just keep it till here. It is quite a confusing chapter, so I want all of my students to read through the story till here, and we will have a detailed discussion in our live class. Okay, thank you students for listening to me. Have a nice day.